the ESPN Daily. Good morning! Colin Morikawa joined the PGA Tour 14 months ago. Since then, he has made $6,898,970 something dollars in on-course earnings. I am once again asking why my parents didn't foist golf upon me in the springtime of my youth. Freedom of choice is overrated. Here's your ESPN Daily. Listen up. Tom Brady takes Tampa. He moved to Tampa quite a long time ago. As the NFL regular season looms, Tom Brady is adjusting to his new role as quarterback for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. A different playbook, unfamiliar facilities, and a new climate all present challenges for the veteran quarterback. I'm sure he probably knows the playbook by now, honestly. Meanwhile, his Buccaneers teammates are adjusting to a new play caller under center. On today's episode of the ESPN Daily Podcast, ESPN's Jenna Lane brings us her reporting on how Brady is getting used to working in Tampa with a new team. Then, 18-year NFL quarterback veteran Josh McCown explains how difficult it is to learn a new playbook. McCown has learned 16 playbooks over the course of his long football career. Wow. Who won the weekend? You did this to yourselves. After the sports world was forced to a standstill for months, it brings me great joy to be able to say the weekend was one for the books. There was an abundance of shenanigans, trash talk, and creative heckling, with a whole lot less people watching than probably they expected. Damian Lillard, Patrick Beverley, and Paul George got into it in the comments section. Draymond Green said Devin Booker needs to get up out of Phoenix and subsequently got fined $50,000. Brooks Koepka came for Dustin Johnson and subsequently got humbled. Kevin Durant got into a weird Twitter exchange. At least he's consistent. I was referring to basketball, by the way. About the less viewers. Anyway, Kevin Durant got into a weird Twitter exchange. At least he's consistent. None of the aforementioned incidents even made our best of the weekend. That's how you know it's real. From Riley Curry dancing to Beyonce, to Rob Lowe trolling the Astros, here's who won the weekend. Cover story, bringing joy back to baseball. Fernando Tatis Jr. is not meant to be confined in an apartment. He is constantly in motion. Whether he's manning shortstop for the San Diego Padres or away from the field, Tatis is dancing and gabbing and dapping and gesturing. This is not someone who slows down, not even for a second. He radiates joy. Tatis celebrated himself for the life of a restless soul with boundless energy. Tatis calibrated himself for the life of a restless soul with boundless energy, and that life was good and perfect, really, until he walked off the field after a spring training game March 11th, and into a new reality. In the 5 months since the coronavirus turned Tatis' world upside down, he spent time alone in his San Diego apartment ruminating on all the things he missed. His family, his friends, the intimacy of face-to-face interaction, and baseball. Tatis loves baseball. It's part of him. What Tatis does not yet realize is how symbiotic his relationship with baseball is. As much as it fulfills him, the game needs him. Since the Padres opener on July 24th, all Tatis has done is play better than everyone else in the sport. He has 8 home runs this season, tied with Aaron Judge for most in MLB. Damn it. That's where my mind is. Always on football. Tied with Aaron Judge for most in MLB. Through the first quarter of the shortened 60-game season, nobody had more wins above replacement than the 21-year-old. His excellence isn't purely statistical either. Tatis' home runs are majestic. His bat flips righteous. His drip undeniable. I don't know what that means. As Jeff Passan writes, this is only the beginning. Things to care about. The silent shot heard round the world. Colin Morikawa delivered on golf's biggest stage and won the first major championship of the panic-plagued 2020 season on Sunday. The shot, an epic driver to the 16th green at TPC Harding Park that set up an eagle putt and a 2 victory in the PGA Championship, should have elicited a boisterous reaction. The excitement should have been overwhelming. Instead, it barely evoked a whimper. As Morikawa won his first major, he was met with a smattering of cheers and claps, reminiscent of his college days at nearby Cal. Even though there wasn't much noise, Morikawa, who was in college just 15 months ago, loudly announced himself to the masses with that shot. 8 games that will swing the NBA playoff race this week. We are entering the final week of seeding games in the NBA restart, and so far the bubble has been nothing if not eventful. Luka Doncic has balled out. Melo has moved up the all-time scoring leaderboard. Dame Lillard has sent the Pelicans packing, and Devin Booker has been legendary. Teams have a few more opportunities to improve their places in the standings. There are 4 teams pushing for the final spot in the Western Conference playoffs, and it's now guaranteed that there will be a play-in series. There won't be a play-in series in the East, but seeding and matchups are still up for grabs. To get your mind right for this stretch run, our NBA experts broke down the 8 games that will decide the playoff picture this week. Indiana Pacers versus Miami Heat, ×2. Dallas Mavericks versus Portland Trailblazers. Philadelphia 76ers versus Phoenix Suns. Toronto Raptors versus Philadelphia 76ers. Brooklyn Nets versus Portland Trailblazers. Dallas Mavericks versus Phoenix Suns. Houston Rockets versus Philadelphia 76ers. Things to watch. Another day, another bench-clearing brawl. The old adage about no hard feelings does apply here. Tempers flared when the Athletics and Astros faced off on Sunday, months after Houston's sign-stealing scandal was brought to light by Oakland pitcher Mike Fears. Things got so heated that the benches cleared, so did the stands. Weren't they already? After the A's' Ramon Laureano was hit by a pitch for the 3rd time in the 3-game series, with 1 out in the 7th. Laureano pointed at the pitcher, then began exchanging words with Astros hitting coach Alex Cintron, left first base, threw down his batting helmet, and began charging towards Cintron in the first base dugout. That's when Astros catcher Dustin Garneau left the bench to tackle Laureano, and a wild scene ensued. Stephen Curry with underrated media. After tackling the competition at the PGA Championship, 23-year-old Colin Morikawa had to face another daunting task, fielding questions from the media. Namely, he received questions from a little-known, one-man publication called Underrated that was thought up by Golden State Warriors star Stephen Curry minutes before Morikawa's news conference. After surprising Morikawa and asking if he is a leaderboard watcher, Curry got into the hard-hitting questions, such as, "Do you need me to caddy for you in the future?" Cute. Overheard. If you've won a major championship, you're a hell of a player. I mean, sort of hard to knock a guy who's got 21 wins on the PGA Tour, which is 3 times what Brooks has. Rory McIlroy defending Dustin Johnson after Brooks' comments that Johnson had only a single major to his name. Remember when? On this date, 25 years ago, we learned why arming fans with objects that are meant to be thrown is a rookie move. In this instance, the aforementioned throwables were 15,000 souvenir baseballs intended to celebrate the Los Angeles Dodgers' previous Rookie of the Year winners. For unknown reasons, fans started throwing their balls on the field in the 7th inning. The first few balls, perhaps as many as a couple hundred, caused a 6-minute delay. Rainfall subsided until just before the bottom of the 9th, when a ball landed near St. Louis Cardinals right fielder John Mabry. From there, things escalated quickly and culminated in the umpires making an abrupt decision. The game ended in forfeit. Oh my goodness. The Cardinals' 2-1 lead was ratified, but was officially recorded as a 9-0 win, as all forfeits are. Oh. Tom Henke got the save. It was the last forfeit to date in Major League Baseball. Wow. what's on tonight. All stuff that we missed because I can't be counted on to do this before bedtime, after bedtime. Until next time, remember, over the weekend, Kevin Durant proved yet again why he is not to be trifled with on social media. When a random person made disparaging remarks about the Nets superstar, he followed that person's girlfriend on Twitter and liked all her pictures. I guess I'm sharing this to say things might seem bad on this Monday in 2020, but at least you're not as petty as KD. This has been your ESPN Daily for August 10th, 2020. Moving on to Yahoo Sports, Read and React. Trending. Colin Morikawa, 23, wins PGA Championship with stunning eagle. Cringe watch. Nats grounds crew can't get tarp unrolled during rain delay. Oh. A hole-in-one dropped at the PGA Championship and nobody cheered. Oh well. Cleveland quarantines pitcher after he goes out on the town. Excuse me. Sad. I hope it was worth it. Sad that he has to be quarantined. Draymond Green hit with $50,000 fine for tampering comments while on TNT broadcast. The lead. Hopes dim for college football in 2020. Lame. By Jay Busby. Morning, friends. Positivity first. I spent the weekend watching the PGA Championship, NASCAR races, baseball games, and the NBA and NHL playoff races. That's a bounty of sports unimaginable a few months back. It was glorious. I could almost forget we were still in the middle of all this, as long as I didn't look too hard at the stands, or at Twitter. Because while all those sports were going on, almost entirely without incident, a much bigger, darker story lurked just offshore. College football. For my money, the top-to-bottom most fascinating sport in America lurched ever closer to what appears inevitable, a shutdown for the fall 2020 season. The pebbles had been falling for some time, smaller FCS schools postponing or outright canceling their seasons. Then came Saturday, when the Mid-American Conference announced that its 12-member schools were taking their ball and socially distancing from their season. In the Jenga tower that is this year's college football season, the MAC, Mid-American Conference, was one of those pieces that makes everything start to teeter. So even as optimism about other sports rode high, with the exception of the St. Louis Cardinals, no player or team across baseball, basketball, golf, NASCAR, or hockey tested positive over the weekend. The news turned ever darker for college football. Our Pete Thamel reported that Big Ten college presidents met Sunday night with cancellation or at least postponement of the football season as the prevailing sentiment. The difficulties of managing infection vectors, the long-term health risks to players, the liability exposure for universities, the possibility of infection for older coaches, staff, and fans, it all adds up to a grim conclusion, one that was an obvious possibility as far back as April. Controlling 130 massive football operations filled with 18 to 22-year-old college students isn't like controlling a bubble full of millionaires. College football was always the unlikeliest sport to survive in a panic, and now it sure seems like our worst fears on that score are close to being realized. Within the next few days, the Big Ten could pull the plug on the season. Other conferences could soon follow, and man, that would hurt. So much. If you're looking for hope, or at least a little less brutal reality, check out Dan Wetzel's column on how a Big Ten cancellation doesn't automatically mean every conference needs to follow them into oblivion. For better or worse, both the NCAA and this country have pursued a decentralized, to put it politely, coronavirus management strategy, and that could actually work in college football's favor. Other sports have proven it's possible to play games in a panic, and the NFL has yet to set the pace for football. If a conference is willing to wait and invest the money in mitigation and prevention, it could cobble together some form of a season yet. We're barreling into one of the most momentous weeks in college football history. Chances are it won't end well. We can always hope, but hope hasn't fared well so far. Enjoy those other sports, friends, because what we've already got might be all we get. Schwab. 5 questions before NFL Week 1. Who will be Bears quarterback? Oz. Fight. As Astros throw down, don't socially distance. Let's get back to normal, shall we? Bushnell. Will positive cases affect Champions League? The kicker. That's a 4-base error. Hey, at least it didn't go off his head. Oh. That sucks. Is he wearing his mask? Does he have it up? I can see his nose. It looks like it's kind of on over his mouth, though. Maybe. Oh, that's his beard. Never mind. It's a beard. I was wondering if, like, a mask was hindering something, but it's a beard. Thanks for reading today's issue of Read and React. And that's it for Sundry Sports for today. Thank you and good night.